Falcon!
We set sail at first light, questing for steel, power and might. For countless days we ride the waves. The battle lies ahead, our coming they do dread. We raise the black flag and ready our attack. Fire the cannon, storm the walls. We will see this city fall. Show no mercy in the fight. The sky will burn with blood this night. Set sail and conquer on a quest to distant lands. Set sail and conquer, destiny is in our hands. To the heart of battle ride. The gods are on our side. We'll sail and conquer till we die.
Now, I have a bit of a connection with One Piece Movie 10, Strong World, as I couldn't have picked a better time when I decided to watch this movie for the first time. As in order to celebrate catching up to One Piece after watching the anime non-stop for a couple months, I decided to check out some of the movies. And looking at the list of movies that were out around that time, it's kinda obvious as to why I went with Strong World to be my first One Piece movie. Visually with this movie, One Piece had never looked so good before, and on top of that, Toei really went all out with this one, even getting Oda himself heavily involved in the movie, transforming this from an optional adventure and making it truly part of the One Piece canon. Now this movie blew my mind when I first saw it, and it's also connected to plenty of good memories, as not only did it capture the highest point of my One Piece phase, but it's also tied with memories of moving to a new and bigger house in a better community after my second year in living in Dubai. Now I've moved plenty of times in the past, and while the process of moving can be a pain, I've always liked those first couple days at a new house. You know, where you haven't fully unpacked yet, so for the first couple nights you're kind of sleeping on these crappy comforters, while the house is just full of boxes, and that overall feeling of experiencing something new. And to accompany during this move was good old One Piece, which at the time was not just my favorite anime or manga series, but simply one of my favorite things overall. This movie not only impacted me personally, as it seemed to revolutionize Shonen Jump movies, as I'm not sure if it's just me, but after Strong World, a lot of the other Jump movies started to bring in the original creators to help out, as it also happened with Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Gintama, and even Dragon Ball. This movie was truly a big thing when it came out, so how does it hold up today? Well, before getting to that, let's see what the Straw Hats are in for this time. Strong World introduces us to the infamous pirate Gold Lion Shiki, who back in the day was on par with the likes of Whitebeard and Goldie Roger, who comes across the Straw Hats one day and decides to steal Nami due to her navigation expertise being helpful for a scheme of his. Now, if stealing a crew member wasn't bad enough, Shiki also blasts the rest of the crew on various floating islands, and his scheme he stole Nami for relates to the destruction of East Blue, where some of the Straw Hats were born and raised, making things extremely personal. The plot here is rather simple when you think about it, and the whole Nami being in trouble thing is starting to become a little too common in both the movies and main series for One Piece. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Nami is kidnapped here and then becomes fatally sick in this movie. Get your shit together, girl. Despite that, the story here is still very engaging, as the stakes have never been higher in a One Piece movie before. And my goodness, is this movie full of amazing scenes. The scenes of the Straw Hats running through the floating islands in order to regroup were super memorable, as in true One Piece fashion, with the crew members split up, they each go on their own little wacky adventures in order to find each other, each of them being funny in their own right, as well as giving very healthy doses of spotlight to each of the crew members. My favorite among these scenes are with Sanji and Usopp, as they're attacked one after another by these crazy animals that inhabit the floating islands. While these encounters are hilarious, they're also really cool, as you can tell the team behind this movie had a great deal of fun in making these wacky killer animals. My personal favorite being these weird boar things that are able to shoot themselves like cannonballs. Seriously, Oda should do some designs for the next Pokemon game, because I feel there could be some potential there. But of course, the greatest scene in not just this movie, but possibly One Piece as a whole, is the shootout scene. Holy shit, this scene is badass! And was really a great way to start off the final battle in the movie. However, before I get into the final battle and the overall action of this movie, I really want to talk about the villain here, as Shiki is everything you could ask for in a movie villain. His design is awesome, which perfectly communicates his Gold Lion nickname. The sail attached to his skull is both goofy and badass, and let's not forget he has fucking swords for legs. Then you have his unique powers of making things float, which are used in a lot of neat ways throughout the movie. And then there's just the plain fact that as a character, Shiki means a lot for the series in the aspect of being the original Pirate King's rival, making Luffy's fight with him feel like a big step in the overall journey to becoming the Pirate King. Speaking of which, the action in this movie is overall kinda disappointing. Now don't get me wrong, the fights here are animated beautifully and choreographed pretty well. However, they all feel super short. Like a couple more minutes added to each of them really would have made things feel a lot better, especially considering all the hype that was built throughout the movie. Though at least Luffy's fight with Shiki was satisfying enough, especially with the almost overkill of finishing move Luffy pulls off. While the whole thing with Nami being in trouble once again and some lacking action are problems, this movie is just an absolute blast with its sense of adventure and comedy, high stakes plot, memorable villain, and simply having one of the best scenes ever. While I do think Movie 6 is the best overall One Piece movie, Strong World is one of my favorites. It's the most fun to watch and connected to plenty of great memories, both personally and as a fan. And the impact it left on fans, the series itself, and Shonen Jump movies was really impressive, and for that I thank it.